Hi there, welcome to Cocktail Mode, the podcast where me, Andy and my good mate Dave take a retro game and try and pair it with a cocktail. Today we're looking at the Dizzy series, the classic 8-bit microcomputer games by the Oliver twins, published by Codemasters. There were many of them. We're not going to talk about all of them because we just don't have the time or the energy. I know Dave's a big fan of these, aren't you, Dave?
I am. Huge fan back in the day.
I have other thoughts and you'll hear them in a bit. So it'll be in about, 4 or 5 days from when this goes out, when we're going for the second time to the Retro Computer Museum.
Yeah, we might actually remember what the fucking thing's called this time.
No, that's entirely for you to read when I forget.
He says Googling. I'm going to say it's the world famous... Fuck, I've forgotten it. I'm sure it's the world famous awesome legendary gathering.
Oh, I reckon that might be right. Definitely starts with world famous and definitely ends with gathering.
So yeah, this is due to take place on Saturday the 20th of September. Costs like 12 quid, all day event, well worth a trip.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're even remotely close to Leicester, it is genuinely well worth a trip. It's a great place to go anyway. And then this day that they put together is much more social than usual. It's normally a museum and, you know, everyone there is really knowledgeable, really on board with what they're doing, all volunteers, all brilliant people. And we've said all this before, so I'm not going to go on about too long. But then I guess 3 or 4 times a year they have these gatherings that are a bit more social. There's prize draws, there's a bar, there's all sorts going on, with all these same people still there, still being knowledgeable, still being friendly. Just great. It's a great time. Highly recommend it. If you do come along, look for a couple of dodgy looking middle-aged blokes wearing Cocktail Mode t-shirts, because we're going to be there, still in the same t-shirts we bought for last time.
As long as they still fit.
And so that will be for you listening. This will be coming up this weekend. So if you are in here, please pop along, support them, give them some of your time and love. It's a great place. We had a great time last time we were there. They were really welcoming to us. I managed to leave some Cocktail Mode flyers behind with no issue at all. And they were just a really great bunch of people. So go along, and if you do see a couple of blokes wearing Cocktail Mode t-shirts, come up and tell us you're listening. Honestly, I will die happy. Genuinely. Will be the proudest moment of my life.
I'm going to have to pay somebody to turn up and talk to you.
I reckon I can guess your cocktail for this week.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you think it was?
I saw one called Excellent and thought you'd have picked that. I thought I can't have that one because I'm sure Dave will pick it.
No, I've gone for the punniest of puns imaginable.
I haven't this week, actually.
Yeah?
Here for the puns, mate. Here for the puns.
I came for the piss poor journalism. I stayed for the shit puns.
That's us.
That should be our tagline.
Right, let's get into it. Dizzy.
Yes, Dizzy.
Third time of asking. We are finally getting around to doing a Dizzy episode.
Well, as far as anybody knows, I don't think we've ever actually mentioned it before, and then it didn't happen.
No, I think we did mention it at the end of the previous episode, if it made the edit, that this was going to be our third attempt for Dave to make us do Dizzy. Because I couldn't give 2 shits about Dizzy before I started playing it for this episode.
Oh, no.
And I don't give 2 shits about Dizzy now, having played the games.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones that's dripping in nostalgia.
Yes, absolutely. It's an anachronism to even talk about it today. A bit self-fulfilled, but yeah, I think I'm fortunate or unfortunate enough to remember 1986, 1987 quite clearly. And the games I was playing, 1986 was the year of Star Strike 2 and Turbo Esprit. Fantastic year in gaming. I mean, but I was never interested in the Dizzy games. They were everywhere. Literally, I used to pick up normally CVG and Your Sinclair was my Spectrum magazine of choice. rather than Crash. I think in retrospect, when I look at old magazines in like PDF form on the Internet Archive and things, those are still the two that when I read the reviews, they seem to be just a bit better, really. Sinclair User was like the third magazine in the spectrum, and it's a bit shit. And even now it comes across as not great. So it was, I think, even young me had a bit of taste in that sort of thing. But yeah, they're just not for me. I don't like platform games, which, I mean, I must have said that like every other episode since we started.
Probably more often than that, actually.
Yeah. And it is at its core a platform game. You still have to jump on platforms to get about.
Very much.
Very much so. And starting with the first game, let's start with we're not going to go through them all. Because
God, no. There's no point.
Yeah, there's no point. There's no time.
No.
Christmas is coming. The first one, I mean, they got a lot of charm about them, right? It's very simplistic. It's very bright. It's very sort of, everything about it is intentional. It's called The Ultimate Cartoon Adventure, the first one, the subtitle of it. And it's got that about it. But I don't know. There's even games that I think were doing a similar thing better at the same time. And there's a game called Ollie and Lissa. There were 3 of them. Did you ever play those?
Don't even know the name.
Yeah, so they were also budget games. So all but one of the Dizzy games were budget games. The first one was a £2 game. I think the subsequent ones all went up to the £3 mark.
Yeah.
And Ollie and Lissa was the same. And I think it even came out a little bit before.
Okay.
And was even number 1 in the charts. And it's more of I guess it might even be more platformy and less puzzly. It's a game where you play as a cartoon-looking character and you go looking for objects to appease a wizard. It's not a wizard, it's a ghost, but he's making a potion, so easy mistake to make. And it's animated better than Dizzy, and it looks better than Dizzy. Graphics are better, music's on par, because the music I think is a bit of a highlight of Dizzy, but Ollie and Lissa, it's definitely on par. Plays completely differently. It hasn't
came out the same year. 87.
Yeah, I think earlier in the same year. And it's see, the thing for me that is, so Ollie, sorry, we'll come to the whole lives thing, but generally speaking, the games use a lives system. 3 lives and you're dead. You can pick up extra lives and that. Ollie and Lissa doesn't. You didn't have to do that at the time. And it just, even now, I look back at it and it feels like an older game than it is to me.
Yeah.
But when you look at other people's reflections on it, hopefully you're going to back this up in a second, that whole almost feeling like you had a whole world to explore element of the gameplay was what was new and exciting. Is that what you remember?
Yeah, basically I think of it as, I wouldn't say a maze game, but it's definitely one where if you saw the map like printed off, all the screens like stitched together, you would look at it and go, my God, that's a massive game.
Yeah.
Even though realistically you can finish it in half an hour if you know what you're doing.
Can you?
Yeah.
Wow. Fucking hell.
Watched a video earlier on that's about 36 minutes long.
Crumbs.
But he obviously knows exactly where to go, exactly what to get.
Absolutely.
Things like that.
To me, it in terms of sort of its core gameplay, it feels closer to a point and click game than anything else.
Okay.
Because I just think that's how you think playing the Monkey Islands and that. So you take an object to another object and make a thing happen, and then that opens up the gateway to the next puzzle. Yeah. And that's kind of how Dizzy works. It just works in a platformy way. And I think that might have been new and exciting. And but I was never bothered by it at the time, and I'm not a huge fan of it now.
Why not?
Well, it's like imagine trying to complete Broken Sword, but you can only carry one item at a time. And also occasionally you have...
I think that's an unfair comparison.
I don't think it is. And I think the fact that all the subsequent games let you carry more than one item at a time, probably... Because I think it is an early game, because it's weird now, isn't it? Because this is something that I thought of looking through the games. Modern games, the first game is usually the best, and then the sequels get sort of... It's just attrition. It's basically... It might look a bit better and a bit fancier, but when you're in... Most of the games, people at the time, they might go, oh, this is a much better game than the first one. Most of the time, in a few years, you'll look back and go, oh, do you know what, the first one was the best. There are exceptions, obviously.
Yeah. Especially if there's a core mechanic that's new at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what's different about that is with Dizzy, things got better and worse, I think, from the first to the second one. And then the third one was clearly best. Bit like the Back to the Future trilogy, I would say. First one sets the scene, sets up the mechanics. The second one makes a bit of a mess of the whole idea. Oh no, the third Back to the Future is not very good either, is it?
No.
What's a better example?
Few Dollars trilogy.
No, because it's just great, incredible. It's just not. But anyway, I'll circle back to that.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
And the first one's still the best Indiana Jones, isn't it?
Ah, the third one's good though.
Oh, it's fantastic, but I think Dizzy 3 is better than Dizzy 1.
It starts good, dips down, comes back to good.
Yeah, but I think Dizzy 3 is quite a bit better than Dizzy 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dizzy 2 is just... Tell me what's wrong with Dizzy 2, Dave.
There's nothing wrong with Dizzy 2. Treasure Island Dizzy is perfect. It's a great game.
Is it?
It's a brilliant game, yeah.
How many lives do you get?
You get one life.
One life.
Like in real life.
How far into the game can you get and lose that life and has to start from the very beginning of the game?
You can get to the very last screen, screw up one thing, die, and have to start again. Do you know why it's one life, though? I only found this out this week.
Do you know what? I found it out earlier today, but tell our patient listeners.
So the Oliver twins used to play test their own games. They didn't have people to externally play test them. So when they got to make Treasure Island Dizzy, they realised that with the ability to pick up an item and then cycle it through a 3-slot inventory system, you could have the scuba gear, like the snorkel, that allowed you to breathe underwater. And there's a certain bit where you go underwater and then out into like an air pocket in a shipwreck, I think it is. And if you died, having dropped the snorkel, you would respawn in the area and be unable to pick up the snorkel again.
I think you might have got that quite wrong. When you go into the water, you can take the snorkel off and drop it. So you can drop the snorkel in the water, at which point you die, respawn on the bank with the snorkel underwater, and that's it. No progress is possible because you need the snorkel to go underwater, and you can't. And the snorkel is underwater, and it's like that whole just a basic fucking mess. I mean, but to be fair,
they have admitted since it was a massive mistake.
Yeah. And it was.
If they'd have had external playtesters at the time who said, "Well, hang on a second, this is a bit fucking harsh,"
yes,
then they probably wouldn't have done it that way. They're quite funny about it.
They were very close to deadline, so it's just like, how do we solve this problem? One life. We'll change that 3 to a 1 and forget it ever fucking happened.
The thing is, though, I still finished it.
No.
I finished it when it was out originally. The age of, 12? Whenever that came out, the second one. You just got over it. You just figured it out. You kept with it. You stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the only game I had, but it was a game that I had that I wanted to play and enjoyed playing. So I saw it through.
Yeah, and I think more than so many other games, I think it probably helps, certainly this conversation, just between you and me, that you played it at the time and I didn't, because you're right.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
Everything that I've seen and read and listened to in this week about Dizzy, everyone is really honest about the fact that it is a nostalgia thing for them. They love it because they played it at the time, and they can go back and play it and love it now and see its flaws but still love it anyway. We have absolutely no problem with nostalgia on this podcast, for fuck's sake. That would be silly.
We wouldn't have a podcast without
No, absolutely. Love a bit of nostalgia, but it is one of those things that I just don't have any for the games. I never played them at the time. I was never interested in them at the time. And it's weird to me now seeing them, because I've said before, when you play a game you've never played before, it's the same as playing a new game. Doesn't matter how old the game is. And I've played older games than the Dizzies that I've fallen completely in love with. But the weird thing is about a Dizzy is how old it feels, and how, especially the first one, fucking roly spinny mechanic jump thing that he does, so annoying. Just stop, just jump and stop. When you go,
Have you ever rolled an egg? It doesn't just stop after a few inches, does it? Come on.
As an owner of chickens, Dave, I can tell you that when you roll an egg, it doesn't go end over end. It immediately finds the shortest route and rolls across its middle. Good luck trying to roll an egg point to point. Anyway, so I think I need to park it. So I'd just love to hear your memories of playing the games, and just because it's mean for me to play a game that's 40 years old and say it's shit. That's just rubbish. That's not good podcast. It really isn't. I can tell you that.
Who would do that?
Yeah. I mean, I've learnt a lot about the Oliver twins who created Dizzy, for those of you who don't know, over last week. And certainly recently they've had a bit of a resurgence. The Spectrum Next allowed them to put a couple of games out on that and sort of find themselves. But there was a time I listened to quite an old episode of a podcast where they just seemed exasperated about the idea of talking about Dizzy. Like they would just the whole thing they just wanted to park and leave behind. And
I think that's probably the ownership issue.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they have a 50-50% split with Codemasters for the rights to Dizzy, so they can't ever do anything with it on their own. They can't kickstart something, they can't crowdfund something and just, off we go, let's make a new game.
But they must have resolved that, because the recent one was the Wizard of Oz one. What's it called?
Wonderful Dizzy.
Wonderful Dizzy was a whole bunch of Eastern European coders making it, with them sort of supporting it, and they basically designed the game on paper, literally on paper, and then gave it over to these other guys to make. It's a gorgeous looking game, really, really awesome. Yeah. And apparently might be the one. Unfortunately, at time of recording, the Yoke Folk website is down due to apparently an attempted hack.
Oh.
But the Yoke Folk website hosts Wonderful Dizzy.
Yes. I wonder what you were doing there. That's the longest pause for dramatic effect I've ever heard.
I glitched out. I was like, I know this.
And the EXE has stopped working. Abort, retry, fail.
But yeah, it's on there for free. Just go on and play it. No fuss, no muss. And I don't think that involves Codemasters in any way. So perhaps that's been resolved since. But I know there was a whole mess because of that. They literally said to these other coders, "Yeah, make the game. Here's the design for it," and they went and did it. A really, really smart looking game, and yeah, it sort of modernises it. Apparently, again, this is other people's opinions, not my own, but apparently it modernises sort of the way things work without diminishing all of its old school value.
Oh, okay.
Which I hope is right. I might give it a try once the Yoke Folk website is up and running again. But yeah, you can, I think you can pretty much play it on a real Spectrum if you've got one. I have 3. None of them have ever played a Dizzy game before. So how many of them did you play back in the day?
I definitely had the first one on the Amstrad. It's one of the few Amstrad games I ever finished, which I may or may not have done with a poke or a walkthrough guide or something. Because I'd have only been 10, 11 when I got it. And magazines would have guides. Go here, get this, go back to there, blah, 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 whatever.
That's one of the things I picked up on in my research, was that most people did. It was uncommon for people to beat it, which again, it's not my bag really, but it's uncommon for people to have beaten. I'm sure people did, and fucking kudos to you, because to my mind, if you weren't one of the Oliver brothers, I've got no idea how you got some of those fucking puzzles. I was reading somebody had done a sort of ranked them basically, which was boring, but also listed the most obtuse puzzle in each one. And there's one bit where you put some coins in a purse and it turns it into a platform that lifts you up higher in the level, and it's just like, fuck off.
That's the first one. It's a bucket.
That's it. How are you supposed to know?
Just sitting there. Yeah, I know. You get a bag of gold from the bit under the mine at the start, sort of to the left of the first screen.
Right.
And yeah, there's nothing to tell you where it goes. There's nothing to tell you where it's used.
And there's nothing
which is the case for pretty much every single object in the game.
Yes.
I mean, most things you'll look at and it will say, you've picked up the graveyard key.
Yeah.
All right, okay, I have to go to a graveyard to use that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You pick up some grease. Oh, there's a minecart that's blocking the way. I'll put the grease there and that moves. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Here we go. But there's some really odd stuff in there as well. There's you pick up some bird seed, free bird seed.
I saw the free bird seed, yeah.
Yeah, kills all the birds in the game. You just have it in your held item.
Yeah.
And instead of the birds killing you when they hit you, they die. And you can go through the whole game and kill every single bird that there is in the game. There's a bit later where you get insecticide, which kills all the spiders in the game. But no one is going to put the effort into going all the way to go and get that, then bring it back to where there are spiders, because you just jump over them.
Or run under them. That's fucking birds drive me crazy.
But with a diagonal movement that may or may not be going up or down at any given time.
Just stop it.
So how much of it did you actually play?
So you've basically described everything I saw of the game just there, which I think are the first 3 puzzles in the game.
Did you get the Ghostbusters laser?
No, I can never get past the fucking birds, because I didn't know the bird seed killed the fuckers, did I? Because that's immediately what you think when you see birdseed, is that's going to kill the birds. What the fuck is wrong with this?
It's a reference to Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner.
Oh shit, yeah, free birdseed. Ha!
Yeah.
That's quite clever now I think of it.
There's a few others in there, some really weird references. Like there's a reference to an old poem.
Well, the whole thing is based on a poem.
Yeah, The Green Eye of the Yellow God.
That's it, yeah.
1911 poem by J. Milton Hayes.
Yeah, the whole thing. Well, it's not based on, but all the it has quotes from it. It's got references to it. The place is Kathmandu, isn't it? Which is from there. So yeah, games based on poems. There's a list.
Yeah,
I've got one. To me, one felt the hardest to control Dizzy, and had the weirdest, most obtuse puzzles. As far as I could tell. And I watched some bits of videos, and yeah, it looks the same. I'll tell you something that hit me as well. I was watching a guy called Slopes Games Room. He's one of the most popular retro game YouTubers. Doesn't need our endorsement, but he does do very good quality stuff. And he did sort of a retrospective on the Dizzy games. And I got bored watching it. Just the amount of, and here's another Dizzy game, and here's another Dizzy game. And apparently they got quite bored making them and did quite a lot of other stuff in between.
Well, they shipped them off.
Eventually, yeah.
They handed it over to another developer and just, there you go.
Yeah, no, I think they did 2 games, that the other developer, but for a while they were making them and then making some other games, because these games took months, couple of months, not very long to make. So they were behind some of the simulator games that Codemasters used to put out back in the game.
The XYZ simulator years of Codemasters.
So they did a few of them, like in the in-between. I think they did BMX and Jet Bike, and they did...
Jet Bike's the best one.
Well, they did F1 Grand Prix, didn't they? The top-down super sprint style game. That's one of theirs, and that's great. I used to love that. Not quite the same without a spinny steering wheel, but still pretty good fun.
Yeah, I love Super Sprint. That's an arcade cabinet I'd have.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Free-player Super Sprint would be great, wouldn't it? You'd go for a lot of steering wheels.
Or you'd never play it for fear of breaking it.
We should do the background bit. We should do that. So basically, the Dizzy games are action-adventure games made by a couple of brothers, the Oliver twins, starting in the mid-80s, ending up in the early 90s. And they all starred an anthropomorphic egg, who wasn't originally an egg. He was just a big smiley face, basically, and turned into an egg almost organically. And they were huge. They were on every magazine cover. It started on the Spectrum Amstrad C64, eventually went elsewhere, but that was where they were really at home.
Well, they were written on the Amstrad and then ported to the Spectrum because it was very easy to do.
Yeah.
Because they used the same chip.
Well, yeah, they actually had an engineer build them an interface between the Amstrad and the Spectrum, so they could do it almost on the fly in as close to as that was ever going to be in the 80s, which is basically what they did because of the Spectrum's shit keyboard was the main reason behind that.
It's just mind-boggling, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, these guys are 20 years old when they're making this. 19, 20 years old. Back in the days of, we want to make a game on this system, then port it over to this system. How do we do that? We'll have to make something.
Yeah.
We'll just invent something.
Yeah.
We'll just come up with some way to do it.
Right, it was one of those things that they talk about, like they bumped into a geezer at a computer fair and he said, I can make something that'll do that. And then he did. Yeah. And they were saying that it was a huge thing for them because they could run the game on a Spectrum. When it crashed, it didn't crash everything, it just crashed the running instance of the game, which left all the code editable on the Amstrad side of things. And anyone else but coding on a basic Spectrum, the whole lot they have to reload it, recompile it, start again. And they were able to work really quickly on 2 systems, and they were big fans of the Amstrad, like you. Big fans of the Amstrad. Even though the egg...
so.
Well, other than the fact the egg is green on the Amstrad. You ever seen a green egg?
That's shading.
It's green shading.
You don't know what the light source is. That could be a green sun.
Yeah. I'm not convinced, Dave. I'm not convinced.
You don't know that he's not a green egg?
I don't know that he's not a green egg. You're absolutely right.
That could be colour perfect. You would never know.
I wouldn't.
Despite the fact that he's quite clearly a big white duck egg.
Yes.
On all the sort of covers and posters and other things.
Apparently he's a chicken egg.
I was going to say, did you ever find out what he is?
Yes, fortunately, there's an interview again with this geezer. I think he refers to himself as DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room, and he did quite a long interview with him. I didn't watch the whole thing, but the last question he asked which was one of his viewers sent it in to ask, was if Dizzy ever hatched, what would he hatch into? And one of the brothers produced a copy of Chicken Run for the PlayStation 1 and said, I did this game, and basically you're finding objects to escape from, thing. This is a Dizzy game. So this is basically, this is what happens when Dizzy hatches. So basically the Chicken Run tie-in game for the PlayStation 1 is a spiritual successor to Dizzy.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I didn't find that one.
No, that was pretty cool. I liked that. Did you see the clip of them on the TV show from the 70s?
Well, mid-80s.
Yeah, whenever it was.
Yeah, was Roustabout?
Oh, I don't know.
Like some god-awful, Saturday morning kids TV show by the look of it.
They were so fucking nerdy.
They still are.
They would have got bullied.
They haven't changed.
Imagine those two at Bunyan, mate. Fucking hell. They would not have escaped alive. I love how I think, this podcast is basically going to be me reciting other stories I've heard on other podcasts and stuff. So I apologise for that in advance, because if you've seen any of those, then you'll know the sort of stuff I'm going to say. But it's just they basically picked the wrong computer when they started off 3 times in a row. They picked, their first computer, they got a fucking ZX81.
Yeah.
Then they got a Dragon 32. Idiots. And then they got a BBC Micro, which is technically the best computer for coding, but nobody played games for it.
There's a lot of Elite fans who will disagree with you on that
Well, yes. I mean, obviously there is an exception to every rule, but fundamentally, they landed on, believe it or not, the Amstrad. And even though, was Super Robin Hood, was that Amstrad only? Did that come out on anything else?
It's definitely Amstrad first.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was Amstrad only.
Because that was their kind of breakthrough game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what kicked off the whole Codemasters collaboration.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I look at that, and I look at the follow-up game to that, a game called Ghost Hunter, or Ghost Hunters, I'm not sure. And both of them look like they play better than Dizzy. So it's like, Dizzy is a thing that I think I just don't get it. It's just I don't see the appeal of it. And apparently it didn't follow the normal path of games, even to this day, where you come out, you're a big hit, and then you fade away. And it was completely
It's because
opposite.
it was released as a budget release. It was cheap. Anybody could pick it up. So there was where you'd normally get the big rush of people buying the brand new thing.
Yeah.
Then a slow decline, and then a budget release comes out and it spikes back up again.
Yeah.
This was budget from the start. So it started quite well and maintained that level.
Well, it actually increased over time.
There would be people who would be looking to buy a new game and think, I don't want to spend 10, 12 quid on whatever this is.
Yeah.
Well, it is Dizzy. That's been out a year. I've never bothered to pick it up. I may as well get it.
Yes.
Although for the most part, games back in those days were just whatever you didn't have and whatever you could con your parents into buying for you. Can I get this one? No, it's tenner. Can I get this one? It's 2 quid.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And this is a thought that's only just occurred to me, weirdly. But if every game was £10, it was so easy to copy games. I'm sure those systems wouldn't have lasted as long, because everyone would have just pirated everything.
Yeah.
Rather than, because it's like the situation now, because apparently piracy is on the rise in TV and films, because nobody can be bothered to pay 18 quid a year for Netflix, and then 18 quid a year for Apple TV, and then 18 quid a year for Hulu, and then 18 quid a year. And so everyone just
You mean 18 quid a month?
Yes, that's what I mean, yeah. The average spending on TV is £600 a year. And people used to complain about the fucking TV license being 120 quid. And that gave you everything that was available. But anyway, point being, the more expensive you make things, the more likely they are to get pirated, which is why when, even now, games on PC that are going to be the biggest games, when they come out, they have like crap like Denuvo, or whatever it's called, to stop piracy. But then when the buzz around them fades, they stop paying for Denuvo and everyone pirates it anyway. The barrier to piracy back in the day was just to make games 2 quid. Why you don't bother? You pay 2 quid for a blank fucking tape. Why just buy a game instead?
Yeah, but you could also copy on the B side the latest Now That's What I Call Music album. But
how many many of them did you play at the time?
So I had the first one, played it through, finished it. Had the second one, played that through, finished it. My mate Jeff had it on the ST, which was a really good version.
What, 2?
Yeah, Treasure Island.
Really?
Treasure Island Dizzy came out on the ST and Amiga.
Wow.
The first one didn't. It's basically only had its life on the 8-bit systems.
Yeah.
There was an attempt to port it to the NES, which didn't work particularly well by all accounts. But no, Treasure Island on the Amiga and ST was really good. Although I didn't like it when I went back and played it on an emulator this week.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't feel the same at all.
Was it because he wasn't green?
No, there was something about it just didn't see. The weird thing is, I played it on the Amstrad emulator.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It's pretty much the original game, updated a little bit with the 3-slot inventory system and one single life. I did not finish it this time round, though. I got quite far.
Well, the thing for me is why I think the third one, Fantasy World or Fantastic Dizzy, because
Fantasy World Dizzy, I think, is the third one.
Fantasy World Dizzy, number 3. I think that's the best one because it's got the improved platforming of the second one, plus the free life system of the first one and the improved inventory of the second one as well. So I think it is a genuine, like the first one that I played that I actually could enjoy playing for a bit.
Is this because it was the first one that featured the rest of the Yoke folk?
No, fuck those guys. Jesus. Oh man, no, not interested at all.
I love it.
The best thing about the Yoke Folks is there's a spin-off games. There were, for anybody who doesn't know, lots of spin-off games for the Dizzy games. There were these action-adventure games with the core product, and there were the various sort of puzzle-ish spin-off games, and one of them was called Quick Snacks, and it's got a really very cool piece of intro music and the little animated Yoke Folk family band playing it on the title screen, only in the Spectrum version, which is the only version I ever played. I don't see the point. I don't see why people like that. It's just, talk to them and they give you an item. Just leave the fucking item on the floor and save me the time clicking through the unfunny text. Don't get it. But it was, Fantasy World Dizzy was really the sweet spot for me of what I played. I didn't play much after it, though. Those are the core 3 that I think I remember from the time as well.
Yeah. I don't think I played one after Fantasy World.
Yeah. Did you ever play the Mega Drive one?
No. It was one of those cases where I didn't feel the need to buy it because I probably had a couple of Dizzy games still on my Amstrad.
Yeah, that weren't 40 quid.
There was crossover between having the Mega Drive and the Amstrad, so it's kind of a pointless thing.
Yeah.
Like if it had come out and been really well reviewed and, this is a really good game, it's worth getting, I might have, but it obviously made no waves.
Well, no, it just sort of got lost because it took a bit long to come out. I think it didn't come out till 91, 92, something like that, and it just got a bit lost in all the Sonic and Mario noise.
Yeah.
But apparently lots of people's favourite, for people who played the originals, Fantastic Dizzy on the Mega Drive. Apparently it's enormous. Apparently it makes the original games look fucking tiny in comparison. It's vast. Yeah. But yeah, lots of people big fans of Fantastic Dizzy. It's certainly interesting. Basically, they wanted to get into the whole cartridge thing because cartridges sold for a lot more than tapes. They wanted to make more money, and fair play to them. These fucking games don't make themselves, do they? Everything's a business.
Yeah.
So you're selling your fucking for a cut as well. Whatever deal you've struck with Codemasters, there's a cut, and you get that, or you can get the same cut of 40 quid rather than 2 quid. I know which you're going for, but. Yeah, I guess it was also double-edged sword because that's what kind of Codemasters and Nintendo fell out quite hard, and then as a result the Olivers and the Darlings.
That still makes you laugh.
So there was the Oliver twins who were the Oliver twins and the Darling twins who were Codemasters.
Brothers.
Are they just brothers?
Don't think they're twins. Yeah, I don't think they're twins.
Who were Codemasters, and they worked quite closely together. And then Codemasters invented lots of products that basically bypassed copyright shit and all sorts, and impinged on patents. And Nintendo, as they are now, not a big fan of that sort of thing. So
Sega as well.
Yeah, so that didn't go quite as badly, did it? I think they
but it wasn't good.
No. I worry, Dave, that we're just talking about shit that everyone knows already, because everyone will have seen the same stuff as we have.
Well, there's not a lot to really talk about other than personal experience of playing the games, which is kind of short-lived, to be honest. I mean, unless you want me to sit here and describe the puzzles and how to beat them from what I remember, which will be some accuracy and truth and some just made up bullshit that I've misremembered.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I can beat Flashback in 25 minutes.
Oh, you're getting better.
But I'd be interested to hear that. It's always tends to be what we talk about at the end. But are there any like puzzles you remember beating that particularly stick in your head as like proud moments for figuring out or not referring to a book for?
I think there is that first moment in Treasure Island, Izzy, because you start on the beach,
yeah,
facing the water, and you can see a coin. So Treasure Island Izzy introduced probably one of the first games to introduce like a collectible throughout the game. There are 30 coins hidden throughout the game.
Yeah.
And they're as obtuse as clicking on the right tree in the right, tree house section, or a window of a house that looks in no way different to any other window of any other house.
Some of them are just sat out in the open.
Yeah.
Others are just fucking...
You have to know they're there.
Devilish.
Or click on everything.
And you need them all. Don't you need them all to beat the game?
You don't need them. It's just like an extra level of achievement.
Right, okay.
But for my money, one of the first games to do that sort of thing, an optional collectible throughout the game. But yeah, that first moment when you start Treasure Island, you can see the water and something in it. So you know you're going in there.
Yeah.
And when you find the scuba gear or snorkel or mask, whatever it is, you think, oh, great, I can go in the water. And almost instantly you'll go in and die. Because on the second screen there's a jellyfish,
right,
and it's just very slow, very slowly moving up and down in the water, and you'll be impatient. You'll try to jump over it, you'll try to run under it, and you will die. And that's your one life gone. So you think, great, I got into the water and died instantly. There's also the moment where you're underwater and you want to pick something up, and it shifts the scuba gear off the top of the inventory and drops it.
Yeah.
And you die.
Yeah.
And you just, shit. And then you get back to exactly the same point where you were before, but this time you shuffle the items you're carrying so that the snorkel is at the bottom. Just little things like that, little bits and bobs like that are the things I remember about playing mainly Treasure Island, Izzy, because the first game was just you have an item, you carry it to where it's got to go,
yeah,
you drop it, use it, whatever it is. But there's some really obtuse stuff in there. There's a bit in the first one. Basic idea of the game is that a wizard has taken over Kathmandu,
yeah,
and you have to fight him. And to fight him, you have to make a potion and various ingredients, and you have to gather them together and chuck them in this cauldron that's on the first screen. And one of the items is a silver lining, which you get by actually the thing you mentioned earlier, where you put a bag of money in a bucket and it levitates you up, and you go up and you jump off the top of a house. Literally, you go onto the screen above for like a second, and this silver lining drops out of the cloud and you pick it up. But there's nothing to tell you that. There's nothing to point you in the direction of doing it. It's just one of those things where you would have to just organically think, what happens if I jump off the top of that building?
These are bad games. This is bad design. It's just bad design. But it is fortunate that you can fall from any height and you don't die. Weirdly, as you're an egg. But
yeah, I think that's great. I've always liked that. Because as you seem to hate the roly-poly motion when you fall, when you land and don't land on your feet, you'll sort of continue rolling. There are certain bits where you just jump and you roll and roll and roll and roll and roll to eventually you stop.
I remember a game called Myth on the Spectrum.
Oh, yeah, I know the name.
I think may have been like that, but I don't think I even played that very much. I think that was, but I think that was similar. A bit more action. I think a good few years later as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think until like playing actual point and click games, text adventure games, I guess, is similar. I mean, obviously, none of these. They are basically there's the puzzle bit and then there's the platformy bit, and I think that's what was new about Dizzy to a lot of people. It may not have been the first game to ever do it.
I think what it was is the idea that here's this fixed world rather than like a scrolling level where you platform through and just get to the end of the level.
Yeah.
This was a fixed world where you start here, you have to go and get this item, to get through this bit,
Yeah.
get this thing, come back here and use it here. It's set.
Yeah.
It doesn't just refresh and do a new level with different enemies because they're a different color, or oh, here's the ice level or whatever. I mean, there are areas to it that are like that. Like here's the underground bit, here's the crystal cavern-y bit, here's the tree house section.
Yeah.
But it's not an instance, but like a level in an arcade platform.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying, and I kind of agree. And I kind of sort of put myself in that place at the time, sort of exploring and getting to a point where, as you say, you get to a point going left or right or up or even down where you can't go any further, and seeing what's beyond it must have been a massive motivation, because this is like, this is probably as revolutionary as open world games when they came about, even though, Turbo Esprit existed in 1986 as well, but we won't go into that.
No, we won't.
But I remember playing not so much the top-down Grand Theft Autos, but certainly like Vice City, because you wanted to get across that bridge, didn't you, in Vice City? And it was locked for half the game, and you wanted to see what was beyond it, and that was a big motivator for getting further and seeing a road and going, what's down there, or seeing behind a building and just running around it and just having this world to explore. I guess it must have felt a bit like that.
Yeah, a little bit. The other game that I would say is a lot like it in terms of that. Have you ever played a game called Feud?
No, I know the name.
Basically, you are a wizard and you have to gather herbs to mix spells to fight your twin brother. And it's just similar sort of concept to Dizzy. You've got a starting central point where your cauldron is. You have to go off, find the ingredients for certain spells, mix them, and then use them to get through or past things, and then get to the fight with your brother at the end and die, in my sad experience. But there's all sorts of things you can do in that, and that was a similar thing. It was like you're at this single point, you go off, you get a thing, you bring it back, then that allows you to do something else.
Yeah, and
I like that. I like that style of game. I thought that was I thought that was more interesting than just a side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah, I mentioned Ollie and Lissa, and Ollie and Lissa weren't games I played at the time. I probably avoided them for the same reason I avoided Dizzy. But playing them since, because I basically went back a few years back and saw the name and remembered seeing it, and thought I should have just given it a look. And I say they're very cartoony looking, different approach to the graphics, because the Oliver twins, to their credit, on the Spectrum in particular, just embraced colour clash. They just said it's going to happen. Well, we would rather have colourful graphics and have the clash than have no colour and no clash, which was basically a choice on the Spectrum. And Ollie and Lissa is slightly different. It is sort of flatter in terms of colours and things like that. But the animation is way, way better. But it plays... So you start off with a single screen and you have to get an item and take it to the cauldron. So the first item is... Can't even remember. I think it's like a diamond or something. And you have to get that from the left of the screen, take it to the cauldron at the top. That's it. Level 1 beat. And then it opens up so you can go one screen to the left. And then that's another single screen, but you have to get the diamond and then get to the point you entered that room and then do the first level again and then get to the cauldron. So you keep basically going one screen along. So every time you beat a level, you're basically adding a level further to go. So you get to level 3, so you've got to go from level 1, get through level 2 to the exit to get to level 3, to beat level 3, and then come back through 3, 2 and 1 to get to the cauldron. So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it doesn't have lives. It has what it calls energy, which is basically time. So you've got a time limit to try and do it in. So and it just felt like, I guess at the time you wouldn't have known this, so it's a weird thing to say, but it just feels like a much more modern solution to the problem. Having this time thing and not having lives, but also having this sort of ever expanding thing. But I think that is, in my head, in sort of theoretically, the idea of Dizzy appeals more. Having this, as you say, here's this in terms of Treasure Island Dizzy, here's a whole island that you've got to explore and solve puzzles to get further in. That sounds great, but I could just never get into it as a game. And I think there was a trapdoor game that was great looking as well, wasn't it?
Oh, trapdoor was fantastic. I love that.
When did that come out?
Hard as nails.
Yes, absolutely. Much like Dizzy.
86.
Yeah, all around the same time.
Yeah, but these are the peak years. These are the peak years of the Amstrad, the Spectrum, the C64. This is when there were hundreds of games
what
coming
I'm
out.
trying to get my head around is what made Dizzy special, what made it a success, because most of my favourite Spectrum games are from the same era. They're very different, and they seem just better in most ways than Dizzy. I don't think Dizzy's not a great looking game. It's not.
I disagree. I think for the time it was quite good.
See, I think for the time it wasn't. I think their earlier games, Super Robin Hood and Ghost Hunter, both look better. They certainly got better animation, and I find it odd. And I guess it was, and I thought it was that whole, maybe it was the first to do this cartoon style thing, but nowhere close. Trapdoor beat it by a year. Trapdoor looks like a proper cartoon, and it's just so. Basically, it comes down to the age-old adage that what made Dizzy special was the gameplay.
Yeah,
and so it has to be, doesn't it? Because it wasn't hype that made it popular, because it's not that it didn't exist. It's that I think it scored reasonably well, the first one, in reviews, but it was a budget game, so it just floated along and got more and more popular. And then the second one came out. See, that's the thing, I think. And again, the speed it came around, I find it really weird looking back at reviews of the second Dizzy game, at how throwaway they are about the single life. It's you only get one life this time round, more of a challenge. And I'm like, no. What? No. Well, yes, obviously it is more of a challenge, but Jesus Christ, games weren't all that hard. It was a standout.
The first time you die to something, you remember it.
Yeah.
The next time you go back onto that screen, you think, right, this is where that fucking seagull killed me. So how do I not get? How does that not happen again?
Yeah, I reckon that every single child who ever first played Dizzy, that's how their first death happened. Oh, a coin! Oh, fuck!
Yeah, and they never did it again.
Well, not deliberately, not unless they happen to be landing a jump near some water at some point. Oh, that reminds me, isn't that great? It's very early on in the first game, so. Sorry to anybody who's got deep, in-depth knowledge of these games, but everything I mentioned is going to be very early on in everything, because I didn't play them for very long. But you pick up a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you try and put it down, he goes, actually, I just drank it, or something like that. Rather than put it down, he drinks it. And then every now and again, you just do a little tumble. You'll be walking along and he'll just go, whoop, and tumble over. And it could be anywhere. You could be at the edge of a spiky pit. You could be in trying to jump off something.
There's some birds on the second or third screen along from the start. If you jump through the air and hit one, you don't die, it dies. But then your controls are reversed.
Oh, really?
You're holding the right button to move left, but you're facing to the right. So it looks like he's moonwalking.
Oh, okay.
And when he jumps, he sort of backflips. It's sort of forward flip moving backwards.
Yeah.
It's really strange. It takes quite a while to get used to. And then when it goes off, there's nothing to tell you, it just goes off. So you, generally speaking, be jumping off of something and go the wrong way and die. There are red herring items in these games. There are things that you don't need that don't do anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was watching a video of the Oliver twins actually playing Dizzy from, I think it's about sort of 6-7 years ago maybe, on their YouTube channel. And they were chatting about it and said, oh, we've had people come up to us and say, oh, I never found out what you do with the red herring. I was like, well, it's a red herring. Don't do anything with it. Oh, all these years we've been trying to figure it out and there's no answer.
Like communism. That's a red herring. Anyway, little clue reference for those in the know there. Do you know of it, sort of at the time, sort of contemporary to Dizzy, anything that tried to do the same thing? This has just occurred to me, so they're probably going to die and get a cut in the edit, but I don't. It's one of those things, because now a game comes along successful and everything rips it off immediately, and that's been the way for years. Yeah. It's not just a modern thing, it's always been the way. But I don't remember anything else coming along. There was a couple of games called the Seymour games, which were made in the engine by the team Red something, who the Oliver twins gave sort of make us some Dizzy games. They made 2 Dizzy games, and then they came to them with Dizzy Goes to Hollywood. and Dizzy Go to Hollywood, the Olivers went, nah, not really what we want. And so they turned it into Seymour Goes to Hollywood, and it looks like identical. It's clearly a Dizzy game with a different character in it. It looks like almost identical, stylistically. Sorry.
Yeah.
But other than those,
Big Red Software, they were called.
Big Red. There we go. But I don't remember anything else at the time coming along and just being, oh, this is Dizzy.
I don't remember any massive rip-offs. I mean, I can remember playing games that were similar, like where you had a sort of area and you would have to go off and get items and come back and do things. But nothing that stood out as being like a shameless rip-off.
No.
There's undoubtedly some out there. There always is. There's companies who specialised in taking somebody else's popular game and then just making a non-copyright infringing version of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Codemasters themselves. I had a game on the Spectrum by Codemasters called Twin Turbo V8, which was marketed as basically Outrun. Played nothing like it, obviously, but that didn't matter because, you know, there was graphics on the box that were from the Commodore version, and I brought the Spectrum version. And this is just how it all went. This is how things were, and it was it was the Codemasters weren't ashamed of that sort of thing, and it was just something that happened. I mean, maybe even Ghost Hunter was not a million miles away from Ghostbusters, is it?
I don't know. I don't know the game. Obviously, the name is quite close.
Yeah, well, it doesn't play the same. It's actually quite a cool looking game. I haven't played it either, but it is. I think it might be single screen type thing, but it looks to me. If you've played it, comment and tell them if I'm right or wrong. Like you control the character, but also every now and again you stop and can shoot things with a cursor on screen, like almost Operation Wolf style. It looks like it combines those two things. Really should have played it. I mean, as I alluded to earlier, after a while, I think it seemed to me like the Olivers, they wanted to split up making Dizzy games and doing other stuff, and then they got over that, and I think must have decided they wanted the money and just made, like, I think there was a point where they made 11 games over a period of time and 10 of them had Dizzy in the title, though, so they were fully like on board with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, as I say to you, I found watching a video about that exhausting. It just seems like it's just another game. And it must have been like that for the consumers as well. I think probably the fact that they were budget all the way up to the very last release, which Codemasters put out at a tenner, I think, and 20 on the Amiga and ST.
Big box.
It just seemed to me like I can imagine that just 3 games is enough right, in that period of time. 3 games over a brief period of time. 3 games is enough, and that's what most things were. Trilogies exist for a reason, right?
I think what they were looking to do was to create like a cross-media character, because there were plans to make a cartoon show.
Right.
I think the idea was to get it out there as much as possible, build up popularity, then sell it to some animation studio, and then just rake in royalties for the rest of their lives and make another game. Because if you own 50% of an IP that's massively popular and gets its own cartoon and spin-off merchandise and all that sort of shit, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Because Dizzy did used to get merchandise. You get like Dizzy t-shirts.
Oh yeah, t-shirts and hats and badges,
posters. Yeah, exactly. Not a lot of games manage that, even popular ones. You ever see anybody wearing a Double Dragon t-shirt?
Not then.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Game characters hadn't moved into other media properly at that point. There were awful versions of like Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
That had a late 80s cartoon. And I think that's what they were hoping for. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. I think it felt at the time even that Dizzy was like the figurehead of computing. Rather than, Mario and Sonic and all that, it felt like it was Mario, Sonic and Dizzy. It felt like a contemporary of those characters. And a bit of a shit one, really. But no, I don't mean, I'm not talking about the games now, but when you think about, here's your mascot character, you've got, Plumber, not so great. But everything that Sonic was doing and stood for, and the speed and everything that was going on. When did the first Sonic game come out?
It was on the Mega Drive, so 89, 90.
Yeah.
After Dizzy.
Well, after the first 2 Dizzies, but that's a contemporary of Fantasy and the 3 or 4 games that followed. There's over 20 games with the word Dizzy in the title. They went on a long time.
Not all Dizzy games, though.
No, there were these spin-offs. They were, much like you, big fans of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 of those games are like Pac-Man clones.
Yeah, fast food which was the first sort of spin-off from the series, was basically a Pac-Man clone with Dizzy characters.
Yeah.
Which I think I played. I'm looking at a picture of it now, and I'm pretty sure it looks familiar.
That's because it looks like Pac-Man.
Because it's just Pac-Man with Dizzy. Yeah, Quick Snacks, I definitely remember.
Yeah, which was it was a bit of that, a bit of the Pac-Man thing, but a little bit almost Bomberman-ish as well, because you could move the maze around and do things with it. And I thought that played quite well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Fantasy World was the last one I touched.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And again, memories of the time, that's the last one that really I remember getting much attention. I think there was the fatigue that I felt watching this video, and I'm going through like, here's another Dizzy game, here's another. It was felt by consumers, and it must have been diminishing returns. Because the games weren't getting any better, really. They were getting potentially bigger and, just different, set in a different place. But I don't think you can go on that long. Clearly, they must have made money because they kept making them. But
well, yeah, if it's not making money, they won't release anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But I think relevance drops off as well, doesn't it? You think 87 Dizzy come out, and yes, maybe that felt like a big new exciting thing. And then it did so well over a long period of time that it was, I think the gap between Dizzy 1 and 2 is bigger than the gap between any other two games in the whole franchise, because they didn't feel the need to make it, because the other one was selling. So, or Codemasters didn't need to feel the need to tell them to make it.
Yeah, it sat in the top 40 for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Imagine a single doing that, like in the pop charts. It's just unheard of.
In the pop charts?
Yeah, the pop charts. Remember them?
In the pop charts.
Fuck off. You're older than me.
I am. But I didn't just say the pop charts.
Trouble is, there's not much more to say. It's quite a...
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I remember this with... I remember it with Rocket Knight, because you just didn't like it. It just becomes quite difficult to, like... You've either both got to like it or both got to hate it, or you've not got much to say, have you? But
I might go back and play Fantasy World Dizzy again, because I didn't pick that up this week.
Yeah, I do
remember that.
That was as close as I got to liking it, but I just kept going back to Ollie and Lissa. I'm not even joking. I had what used to be the World of Spectrum website split and is now two different websites, and one of them has links to spectrumcomputing.co.uk. At the bottom of a listing for every game, it's got its links to JSpecky. Or JS Specky, so possibly a JavaScript Spectrum emulator. It just runs it in browser like absolutely perfectly. I've got Treasure Island Dizzy in one window, Fantasy World Dizzy in another window, and Ollie and Lissa in a third window. And sort of clicking through them when I had a gap in work today, and it always ended up going back to Ollie and Lissa every single time. And I get, not in terms of gameplay, it's not the same sort of thing at all. It's very much a bit more of a platformer, but there's so much else about it similar. I can't help comparing the two, and I just think here's a weird contradiction. Maybe it's that games like Dizzy became more popular. Action adventures are now probably 90% of fucking games out there. That the games that aren't first-person shooters are action-adventure games, which is what Dizzy is, really.
Yeah, it's the 2D equivalent to I don't know,
Assassin's Creed.
Fucking hell. Yeah, okay, let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's the 2D Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but I mean the genesis is there. I'll stand by it. I'm not rolling back on that. So you are in control of a character solving puzzles that are quite often about getting a thing and taking it to someone or something, and then that solves the thing, which allows you to do more stuff. That's. I mean, obviously Assassin's Creed is quicker and more modern and flashier and all that, but that's the core of the gameplay. It's, fetch quests.
It is the beginning of fetch quests.
Well, I'm not sure it is. I think there must have been fetch quest games before Dizzy, surely.
First one to do it well and make it popular.
Well, yes, maybe. And it is every single puzzle is a fetch quest. But without getting told it's a fetch quest. It's like, here's a rusty minecart. That means I have to fetch some oil to fix it. Again, apologies for talking about the first puzzle in the game, but I didn't see much more than that.
The only one you managed.
Well, it tells you how to complete it in the manual.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Well, say in the manual on the back of the what are they called, the foldy card thing in the budget
inlay
card. On the inlay card it says, try greasing the minecart with the oil.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I think, but it's like, it is essentially a fetch quest. You get to a point you can't beat, so you have to go and find the thing to get past it. So they are fetch quests. And I think that there's more of them around, so it feels like it's dated because of how much those games have changed. Games like Ollie and Lissa, which are very pure, much more pure platformy, not so much like that, but there's not so many of them around again. So it's almost like, because of that somehow makes Dizzy feel older, because you've got modern things to compare it to. There's nothing really, that games like Ollie and Lissa don't exist anymore. So it may be that, I say that is weirdly contradictory, but I think I might be onto something there.
Or you're just rambling.
Oh, I feel fucking another hour or so somehow, mate. Well, one of the spin-off games might have been the Pac-Man clone one. Happy to be corrected, but they basically made in a weekend, because they wanted a break from, they were making a Dizzy game and they wanted a break from it, so they made this Pac-Man clone game and sent it to Codemasters, and they went, yeah, make it Dizzy. Just because we're not interested in anything else. And then eventually it comes to the point where Codemasters were like, we're not interested in Dizzy, do something else. So it was just, it was such a long relationship, and they always go bad relationships until, you find the one, but that wasn't theirs. Actually, interesting on that weird juxtaposition is that I've seen a few interviews and heard a few interviews with the Olivers recently, and they do genuinely come across as a bit bitter. And I find it quite odd, because they've had massive amounts of success and they've been doing something they propose to love for their entire lives, and yet they still come across as a little bit bitter about a lot of it. And I found that a little bit off-putting. I found myself in that whole don't meet your heroes kind of feeling when we're having seen them and heard them talk. We joked recently about trying to get them on the podcast. I don't want them on the podcast anymore. It's like you have had what you and me, Dave, and people of our age, like the perfect career. You did something that you loved. You played video games, you made video games, and you've never stopped doing it. You started when you were 18 and you're still doing it now. You're probably 48, 50, however old. I know they're older than me, aren't they? So they're probably
57, I think they are.
Yeah. So it's just, I found it a little off-putting. I really did, and which is a shame, because they were huge for the industry at the time. They were massive, and they did that. We talk about the likes of Mario as a mascot, and there was and again we talked to us all about the sort of push to have mascot characters, and that Dizzy felt like the mascot for 8-bit gaming. No matter what you had, it wasn't a Spectrum icon, it wasn't an Amstrad icon, it wasn't a C64, it was a 8-bit gaming's own little mascot. It was huge, it was massive, and it was everywhere, and people love it. There's a lot of passion around the character in the games, and I never got a good vibe from them in terms of just appreciate that love, really. I listened to at least 2 interviews, watched another 2, and they got the same vibe from all of them. And it all ended with them promoting a new venture that I've heard nothing of since as well. I don't wish anybody ill, but I just want to say, oh, and there's this new project. You know how it is, that whole, now is the time for you to plug your new venture. And other than the Spectrum Next game they put out, it's just none of the others have seen the light of day. And I say, it's a shame. They were hugely important, and even for me who wasn't interested, it was inescapable. Really was. I mean, I just mentioned GTA a little bit ago. I think that's probably the thing. It was as everywhere as GTA. When the new GTA comes out, it will be the top 10 stories of every gaming website on the internet, and probably
it'll be front page news of every, well, I would say newspaper, but they don't really exist anymore. It'll be everywhere. Yeah, and as much as Dizzy never crossed over in terms of the games press, it was front page. One of the magazines had, I think they called it Dizzy 3.5, like a preview game, as one of their cover tapes to go out. It was just huge. It was a massive thing for just the visibility of gaming, and I've got all the time in the world for that. It was great. I just never enjoyed playing it, and it doesn't matter. It's not important, is it? None of it takes away from the fact that it was huge. Dizzy, it was absolutely massive, and it was really important. I do really lament the fact that it didn't make it quite long enough into the sort of PlayStation era.
Yeah.
I'd have been really interested to see it make it a move into 3D.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of those mascot character platform games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Croc, Gex, all of those. Dizzy would have been an interesting choice to bring into that generation.
Yeah, not visually interesting, but
well, you don't know, maybe. I mean, just think of the lens flare you could have got off an egg.
There was actually a like a sizzle reel, I think they called it, for a PlayStation 2 Dizzy game.
Oh, okay.
So it was they were trying, and they loved the PlayStation as a concept. The whole more affordable, more accessible, very much, that's what they grew up with. Anyone who had a computer could make a game in their day, and that's very much the ethos of the original PlayStation. So they loved that and tried to get into it, and I think they were a little bit sort of almost jobbing coders by that point. They were making a lot of movie tie-in games and licensed games, and there's some interesting stories about them. The first level of Ghostbusters 2 is based on a scene in the film that got mostly cut.
Oh yeah.
So because they got a script, and then before the film got made, and so they'd basically finished the game by the time the film came out, and then the whole load of it had changed because and that wasn't the first and only time that one of them or both of them were involved in Bad Boys 2 for the PlayStation 2. And again, I'm sorry to anybody who's seen the Slopes Games Room interview with them, because I'm basically repeating stuff. I saw that on as well. If you haven't seen it, go and listen to it or watch it. It's very, very interesting. But yeah, it's basically they had no rights to the Bad Boys 2 film. No rights to the actors, no rights to the character. What they had the rights to was the name and the poster. So
oh my word. They
made a game called Bad Boys 2 with no relation to the film whatsoever. And I think maybe, so there's a lot of that. They became a little bit jobbing, I think, is what do they call it in football? Journeyman. A journeyman, yeah, they came a bit like that, which maybe that's a bit of a fall from grace, but come on, it's not, programming games for a living, it's not, come on. Smile about it.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on where you're being interviewed and what for.
Yeah.
If you're at a convention trying to sell your new product, your new game, and somebody says, "Oh, can we talk to you for 20 minutes about Dizzy?" Yeah, go on then. Again, yeah, it must be. It's a bit like that. But I think there comes a point, and it was only very, very late in his life that Brian Blessed stopped wanting to talk about Flash Gordon, and that's literally decades and decades and decades. Because for a long, long time, he was just like, if you love it, I love it. If it makes you happy, I'll continue to do it. And then as he got, older, and screaming dive at the top of his voice would put him, give him a sore throat for a couple of weeks, he started to back away from it a bit. But I think there is a lot of things for just embracing the thing that the fans love. That's why you're here. If it wasn't for Dizzy, then they would have just been another pair of coders who disappeared into obscurity. But it wasn't. So yeah, I think probably easier said than done if you're in that position. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just looking at a list of games that they've developed as various different companies. There's some awful shit on here. Yeah, awful sounding shit, Dave. You haven't played it. Sorry. Yeah, Barbie Horse Adventures. I'm sure is brilliant. There's Bad Boys, Miami Takedown. A couple of Bratz games. Oh. 3, actually 4. Jesus. Reservoir Dogs. Oh, that's terrible. PS2, presumably? Yeah. I'm going to come back and give full credit to the Slopes Game Room interview, because we're cribbing it quite badly now. Well, I'm cribbing it quite badly, and tell you to go and watch it. Everybody listening, if you're interested in them, it's the interview where they come across best, and it's also the most in depth. I think it's nearly an hour and a half, and it goes through like their career from start to finish. So from Robin Hood through to whatever it is they were on there to pimp. Talk to me about what drinks you've chosen for today. Well, when you say drinks, are you alluding to the fact that I normally pick 2? At least. Well, I picked 2. Yeah. One which is a hilarious pun. Yeah. And one which is a hilarious pun. Oh, I love a bit of variety. First one is a quality pun. I was as lazy as putting the word dizzy into Diffords and seeing what came up. Oh, okay. So I got Jamaican me dizzy. Hang on. No, I did Jamaican me crazy for Crazy Taxi. Right. Didn't say anything. Damn it. Because I thought the same thing when I read it. I thought, wait a minute. So this is my honourable mention is Jamaican Me Dizzy.
Okay.
It's a community recipe contributed by Michelle Manley. So it's served in hurricane glass. It does actually sound really nice. I like the sound of this. 45 ml of passion fruit juice, 60 ml of Bacardi, 30 ml of coconut rum, 60 ml of pineapple juice, 60 ml of cranberry juice, 45 ml of lime juice, and then 22.5 ml of grenadine. It's very sweet, very fruity, but I bet that's nice.
That is by the pool getting hammered without realising
Yeah,
the drink,
that's
isn't it? That's nice.
That's a big tall glass, shit tons of ice.
Yeah.
Massive straw.
Tastes like squash and gets you fucking hammered.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's based on Jamaican Me Crazy. Went to make the original and realised that I'd run out of orange juice but had pineapple, so substituted it and it kind of worked. So I haven't used the same drink twice.
Well, I mean, that's so fucking lazy. You might have well have done.
Yeah, but this isn't my choice. This is my honourable mention. Just because it made me laugh, because it said Jamaican Me Dizzy. So my actual drink, the one that I've gone for, is I'll read the list of ingredients to and see what you think. 50 millilitres of Jack Daniels, 25 millilitres of Advocaat, 30 ml of lemon juice, 0.9 of a milliliter of egg white, and then 1 gram of bacon seasoning.
That just sounds like a whole load of stuff that's going to curdle.
It doesn't sound appealing, does it?
It really doesn't, no.
But this took me back to when you had the bacon washed bourbon,
yes,
was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Something...
I saw this and I thought, ooh, this will be right up his street, and I might be able to convince him to make this. Because I'm not going to.
So it was not, I didn't choose it. It was, I mentioned it in Jet Set Radio because it's called a Benton's Old Fashioned, and obviously it's Benton.
Ah, was that it?
So I couldn't chouse it, but yes, that.
But you did make it, didn't you? You did make the.
I did
bourbon.
I did, yes, and unfortunately, I left my bourbon to get washed in the bacon fat for too long, and it just tasted vile.
Was it a month?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I forgot about it. All right, I just forgot.
At least this is just bacon seasoning. It's literally just sprinkle it over the top.
Yeah. So go through that list of ingredients again for me.
So it's 50 millilitres of Jack Daniels rye. Which
I have that.
I presume is just Jack Daniels.
It is, yeah.
25 millilitres of Advocaat.
Do you know what? I think I might have that as well.
30 millilitres of lemon juice.
Yeah, definitely got that.
0.9 millilitres of egg white.
Yeah, I reckon I could slice off that much egg white.
10 millilitres. A milliliter, sorry.
Good luck.
Of egg white. Yeah, and then a gram of bacon seasoning.
I can make that.
But I love this. To garnish a rash of bacon placed down the side of the glass.
Oh, amazing.
It's called the Eggs and Bacon Sour. And I just thought, I'm really, really intrigued. I want somebody to make this for me so I can try it. I don't necessarily want to have to make it myself.
I'll make you one and post it up to you.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Bring it with you in September when you come up for the next Retro Computer Museum event.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the glass that goes in?
Old-fashioned.
Oh, okay, so basically a tumbler.
Yeah, it's a double of Jack Daniels. It's got to be an old-fashioned glass.
Oh, yes, it's true.
So, yeah, rim the glass with lemon juice, dip the glass into a saucer of bacon seasoning. In an ice-filled shaker, shake all the ingredients. Fill the glass with crushed ice. Stain the ingredients into glass. Garnish and serve. Gonna guess English is not his first language.
I will make that for you, not tonight.
It's a community recipe that has 1 rating, which is 3 out of 5.
Bang average.
Yeah. I love to think that it's him who's rated it. I made this. It's shit.
It just doesn't sound that nice. I think, but the trouble is, every child of a certain age, of which you and me are, had Advocaat and probably threw up on it when they were way too young to drink anything else.
I don't think I've ever drunk it.
Have you
I
not?
think thick yellow looking always just put me off. I just thought, no, I don't want whatever that is.
So yeah, it was Advocar. It's basically you make a snowball. Advocar and lemonade, I think, is the most basic form of snowball. I don't know if there's a fancier version.
It's like eggs and brandy, isn't it, or something?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. Yeah,
it's a weird drink. Who the hell comes up with that?
Well, yeah, somebody.
Oh wait, no, the Dutch. There we go. Should have guessed from the name.
There are two things I hate in this life: intolerance towards other cultures, and the Dutch.
You know, I didn't see that film for like 15 years until after it came out.
Really?
I just always assumed it would be god awful and never bothered.
I mean, part of it, it doesn't hold up great. The parts of it are god awful, but it is very, very funny in places. It can't help itself sometimes. I mean, a good find. What was it called again?
Eggs and bacon sour.
It's funny because there's not really any reference to Dizzy being an egg in the game, is there? You know, like when you talk to the ogre, like right at the beginning of the second game, he doesn't say, you know, bugger off or you'll get scrambled or anything like that. There's no sort of egg references in it at all to any of the. I guess they're called the yolk folk. I guess that's probably a fairly.
There's no allusion to threat, is there?
No, I guess not.
Like when you die, you just sort of die. Well, especially in Treasure Island, when you drown, you just float to the surface.
Which has just made me realise something.
He's hard boiled.
No, he's rotten.
Oh, is that what it is?
Only rotten eggs float.
I knew there was something about eggs.
Yeah, if you have to test an egg, just put it in water, and if it sinks, it's fresh and fine. If it floats, it's gone off. You need to throw it in the bin. I mean, Dizzy in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell. Hang on, no, that's can't do two Austin Powers references in that. Yeah, no, absolutely. Only rotten eggs float. So I mean, just saying. Although it is only when he's dead, isn't it?
Yeah, and also he is wearing boxing gloves and those funky little boots.
Yeah. Which
will contain air, so it may not be him that's floating.
But when he's alive, he sinks. Because he only has the snorkel on. He doesn't have anything else. So he's basically... I take it all back, Dizzy. I take it all back. You're not rotten. You're just misunderstood. I also actually found a recipe on Difford's community, but it turned out it was somebody had posted a recipe from another site, Imbibe. I think we've mentioned Imbibe before. Good website, good. It's nice, you know. It's good stuff, good quality content, and a good quality website. So that they have got a recipe from a guy called Trey Jenkins, who at the time, 2015, was at a bar or a restaurant, I think, called Pesh or Peshay, perhaps, because both E's have got accents on them. Peshay in Austin. I mean, it's America, so it's probably just Petch.
No, you say that Austin is quite a metropolitan city.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. I've heard the same thing. So actually, I'd like to go to the Grand Prix there. Everyone who goes to the Grand Prix says it's a great town. So yeah, cool. Anyway, Trey Jenkins at Pesh, 2015. I believe he's moved on. I did try to Google him and find other stuff. He's online. He's got a presence, but it's quite difficult. I was looking for some background to this cocktail and didn't really get it. A little bit more on that in a second. But it's called The Legend Continues, which I thought was quite evocative of Dizzy. I liked that name, but the reason I found it is because one of the ingredients is a whole egg. Not in its shell, obviously. That would be unpleasant. But it's a flip recipe. It consists of an ounce of dark rum, an ounce of coffee liqueur, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh orange juice, half an ounce of oyster syrup, a whole egg. And that's it. And obviously, as you normally do with egg in cocktails, you shake it once without the ice, and then once it's all emulsified together, you shake it again and strain it out. Garnish with coffee beans. What I found absolutely fascinating about this is that it tastes like chocolate.
Okay.
There's no chocolate in it, and yet it tastes like chocolate. It's a brilliant piece.
Coffee and the egg combination?
The coffee, the nuttiness of the orgeat syrup, just the sweetness of the rum. It all comes together, and it just tastes like very sweet. It's quite sweet for me, this one, but I did like it, but I was just fascinated. Just proper bit of mixology, really. The fact that he's taken these ingredients, none of which have chocolate in them, and made something that tastes like chocolate. And then when I did go digging around and trying to find out a bit more about it, it's an Easter cocktail. It's absolutely it's designed to taste that way, with the egg and coming out taste like it genuinely a really fascinating drink. The guy's obviously got some skills putting this together. Looks great. It's like basically, I tell you what, it looks like Advocaat. It's got that same yellow colour with a froth on top like an espresso martini. Looks really cool. Tastes really, really nice. So probably a bit on the sweet side for me, but I reckon other people, I really recommend giving it a shot. It's a really drinkable, nice sort of sophisticated flip cocktail, and not particularly unusual ingredients. I guess the orgeat syrup is a little bit out there. You might be able to dip it off, maybe. I tell you what, if you've got almond flavouring in your baking cupboard, a drop or two of that might sort of put you in the right region, and a bit of simple syrup just to sort of bring you into that sort of almondy flavour. That'd probably be a simple way to knock that together if you push. I thought the name was evocative of Dizzy, because he is a legend and he fucking does continue. It never stops. So yeah, the legend does continue. You know, the Olivers have got to pay their rent, but it's a really nice cocktail.
Pretty sure they own a house by now.
Maybe they've both got really hard drinking habits. Maybe we can actually get them on the podcast, because they'll be cocktails. All right. We've got.
Is that what they sound like? Cockney white boys.
Oh, I fucking wish.
Cocktails? Fucking hell, yeah.
Oh, all right, geezer. Get it down me neck.
Having heard interviews with them, that couldn't be any further from the truth.
I'll fucking cut you. No, no, that's wrong. Everyone and anyone listening, please, that's exactly how the Oliver twins sound. They're proper shady. Proper shady
Don't
characters.
Google it.
Just take this as gospel. Yes. I promise you, that's a really nice cocktail. The legend continues. Recommend trying it, giving it a go. If you happen to have those ingredients and you can make it properly, it's well worth it. Really, really nice. But really, it's one of the nicer looking cocktails I think I've made. The thickness of the foam on top is just incredible. So you feel like one of those drinks you make at home and makes you feel like you've actually might know what you're doing. But it's all the ingredients. You've done nothing. All you've done is put some shit in a glass and put 3 coffee beans on top. But it looks the business. It really does.
You should have done that for Soul Blade.
Oh yeah, the legend continues.
The legend continues. That would have fit in there really well.
It would, but other than that, not really.
No,
it doesn't have an egg in it, and it's not bright yellow. So yeah, thank you to Trey Jenkins for making that in the first place. I've lost the link to the guy who put it on Diffords, but that I'll probably put that in the comments, as we normally do, just so you can find
Niccolo Murta.
There we go. Dave does the hard work, so I don't have to.
I googled something. Yeah, it was really
Next time on Cocktail Mode, a very, very special episode. We're going to do Desert Strike, and we've actually got Mike Pozane, the guy who programmed Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, Urban Strike, and was involved to a small amount on Soviet Strike. He is basically the man who created these fantastic games, and we've got him for an interview next time out, which we're a little bit can't really believe, right, Dave?
Yeah.
We're a little bit shocked.
To speak to somebody like that is quite incredible. But we're looking forward to that. That should be good.
I mean, to put it very, very mildly, we are looking forward to that. And that'll be next time on Cocktail Mode, where gaming and alcohol are in our blood.